the roadmap for futuristic workforce development. The topic which is very relevant to the product design and development, because without having the proper manpower, proper workforce, proper skilled workforce, particularly again, to have a high skilled workforce, it is very difficult to move on the technological development on the product side. But before that, it is very necessary to know on the facts and figure which are connected with the Indian education system. So, already mentioned in my presentation that the economy and education are the two sides of the coin, and without having a reciprocation among the economy and education, we can't go ahead for the product design and development. So, to mention it here, the Indian economy or Indian education system is totally altogether different than the other countries, because this country has got the asset of biodiversity, the asset of linguistic biodiversity, and that's the reason we can encash the demographic dividend, particularly the young demographic dividend, bringing them into the education system. And particularly when we talk about the technical education system, it must be a vocational training education system which deals with the skill development. See, to mention it here again, the education system which we are talking in the ancient days, with the particular aspects of delivering the particular information or intelligence or knowledge to the learners. But with the time, the entire domain of education is changing very rapidly. The volume of Indian learners before the independence and after independence, after 70 years, has tremendously changed. So in volume, the volume is reached to the highest level. If you quote, the Indian education system is the second largest education system in the world, and very soon it may become the top education system network in the world by the volumes. Already the volume of education system in terms of number of universities, number of colleges, number of professional colleges, and the research institutions is already crossed or is already at the top. The reason to mention it here that though we are already top in the volume, but we are failing in the qualities. To mention it here again, we are ahead of China as far as the Indian education network is concerned. Our education network means number of schools, colleges, the universities, whatever you call it as. So that network is more than 3 times the China. But as far as the quality is concerned, we are failing there. The reason is that the particular work balance which is not balanced in the education system. And so coming to the first point, particularly the Indian economy. So the economy, if you quote it as, we are at number 6. So it is hardly near to $3 trillion economy. So Germany and Japan, they are above us. And as far as the population is concerned, demographic dividend is concerned, we are at the top. But it is not possible to convert this demographic dividend into the productivity as recognized at the global level. And so there are many suggestions, there are many additions are required to follow in the education system. The education system which we are talking about is needed lot of or drastic changes, but the changes to be occur at all level, not only at the higher education level. It must begin from the schooling, primary education, high school, or the college level education, and then coming to the higher education system. The education is really, it's a catalyst to balance the socio-economical health of the nation, which is right, because if you're not giving the work to the hands, then there is a social unrest, and that creates a lot of turbulence in the national development. And that's the reason why the futuristic workforce, preparing of the futuristic workforce, it must be taken as the first task. Otherwise, it is very difficult to maintain the status quo in the development at national and international level. To mention it here, the role of technology in education system, particularly, it is increasing day by day. And during pandemic, the real need of technology is recognized well by the Indian teaching community. But not only a digitization, but far than above, it is needed to add the component of ICT, the component of IoT, the component of the higher age technologies in the education systems. Otherwise, it is very difficult to go along with the global map. To mention again the global education perspective, the global education which already talks about the liberalization of education systems, privatization of education systems, and globalization of education systems, means bringing the local at global level and global to the local level. So that kind of intermixing the education system, if it is allowed, then it is in a real sense that we have followed the pattern of global education system, and that is called as the LPG system. The liberalization, privatization, and globalization, already the government has accepted at the trade and economics levels, or even in agriculture also. But now it is a time to bring this particular global aspect of LPG into the Indian education system. To mention it here, if you talk about the globalization, the number of students those are migrating from this nation in the abroad to the tune of more than 10 to 12 lakhs. It doesn't mean that we don't have the intelligence, we don't have the knowledge bases. It is only that providing the opportunities to this particular knowledge bases, it becomes difficult because we have to enrich the capacity of allowing them to develop across a complete ecosystem. And that ecosystem is failing, particularly because of the large volume. And so, again, on the other side, if we look at the international scenario, around 40,000 students are migrating from the abroad to the Indian nation, or in India, and that to the countries from Bangladesh, or the very small countries like Dubai or Nepal. And it is very difficult to bring the European Union's universities graduates in the Indian universities. The reason again is of a quality concern, and that quality concerns are really on the stake in the Indian education systems. The another component which is coming, or which is very important, and that's called as the PPP model. So public-private partnership model. This is the typical model. Now it is launched in India through IIITs, the Indian Institute of Information Technology. So the similar kind of institutions are coming up in the nation. And so these institutions are coming in collaboration with industries and private partners. The reason is, I'm telling you that the component of the economical feeding in the education system, if we talk, hardly 4% of GDP is found invested in the Indian education system. However, the developed countries, this component is on the very high level. As far as the research is concerned, we are hardly spending 0.6 to 0.7% of the GDP into the research. And so the question of driving this LPG or PPP models in collaboration with industries is very difficult. And so this new initiative has been taken it here to increase this quantum of economical feedings into education system. And also there is an invitations to the top 200 universities in India to set up the educational campuses. The most important aspect that is to be seen on the developed countries' universities campuses The programs are there mostly the industry driven programs. The industry is participating actively to design, to develop, and to activate the program on the university campuses. So in the role of industry is very active. However, this particular this phenomenal approach in Indian context is very not very healthy, and so there is a need to improve the component of industry partnerships by virtue of legal actions through the governments only. Otherwise, it is very difficult to mention or attain the level of global education, which is really wanting from the in nation like India. The industry-driven programs, perhaps we have seen on the campuses of a few IITs, like Bharat Force is having a program in material science in collaboration with IIT Mumbai. Bharati Telecom is offering some postgraduate programs or research programs at the campus of IITs. But this kind of phenomenal approaches must also available for the institution like the state colleges or the common colleges in the state of Maharashtra or in the different states of this nation. Otherwise, again, this is the point of real point of concern, that how to increase this quantum of inviting these philanthropic groups into the education system, and that drive is already taken by the Indian government by initiating one action, and that is referred as the complete CSR funding, corporate social responsibility, that kind of funding is diverted into education. Before it was operated through different NGOs, and very small quantum of that particular economical support or financial support was reaching to the education system. But now, due to this particular new suggestions or new additions through the new education policy, that the entire funding of CSR funding will be now diverted to the education system. So that is the good point. The another important component, which all the times we are talking about, there is why the productivity is the real concern of any national development. The Chinese are the workforce is available at the cheaper cost. The reason is that more than 60 to 70% of their population, more than 60% of their population is trained for the workforce development. Means the vocational training programs are more popular than the other programs, and so masses are trained on this particular different skills, and immediately these skills, though the skills are low-level skills, but are used in the production, and that production is a massification of a production levels, and that's the reason this particular China is the place of having the cheapest workforce, and this is the global market for the another nations to join for using the particular type of workforce. And here the bus is completely missing in Indian education system. So what is the reason? The reason is that the emphasis is not essentially given on the skilling patterns, which are essentially needed begin from the schooling level. Knowing this importance, now through the new education policy, the vocational education is become an integral part of a schooling education. The small medium scale industries are connected to schools, are likely to connect with the schools, and the live experience of teaching and learning is seen through this kind of coordination or this kind of collaboration. But it will take a time to have or to reach the momentum of what is expected in India. The another important component is also essentially required, that there is a need to have focused concentration on the top of the workforce pyramid. Here, the top of the workforce pyramid, which talks about the high-level skillings. High-level skillings, it means that having knowledge of the advanced age technologies, cutting-edge technologies, frontier research which contributes for the production, research which contributes for incubation and product design development. So that rich concept of research is also need to harvest in the or on the top of the workforce pyramid. And mentioned to here again, the publications which contributes for the product development from the Indian continent are very low as compared to China. Chinese are having the IPRs or patents in lakhs. However, in India, we are having the patents or IPRs in few thousands. So that disparity will be clearly giving indication that we must need to focus on high level skilling as well along with the low level skilling. Low level skilling will bring the masses into the production. The high level skilling will bring the technological development in the skilling pattern. And so the skill development is needed at the top as well as the bottom. And when we are mixing the middle level of the pyramid, then it becomes the quality appearance of product design and development. The meaning is here that all kinds of the patterns in the particular pyramid, top, bottom, and middle, should be well taken care by your education system by adding the component of skilling at a proper level. The importance of taxonomies, particularly the skill taxonomies, which are also responsible to generate or to have the impact in the society. The societal impacts, the meaning is that giving or having the educations to all means it provides the importance of having the education, means the gross enrollment ratio at the schooling level must reach to 100%. But now we don't have that kind of networking to have the 100% of the GR at the schooling level. In the developed countries, this particular GR has already reached to more than 99%, and we are about 70 to 80%. So that particular gap of 20% will be a residual impact on the Indian education systems or the unskilling sectors. And so it is evident that more than 3 crore students are found to be out of school, and that is a tremendous amount, or that is a tremendous volume, which creates the turbulence or which creates the social unrest. And so that particular quantum we have to bring into this education system by providing the proper skilling or low level skilling at the school level. So the social impact is also caused due to the improper taxonomy, following the improper taxonomy. If you are following the proper taxonomy of the skill, definitely we can bring this particular masses into education. The another important component is also to be seen, that whether we want the mass production by an individual giant or whether we want mass production by masses or for masses. So these two things are totally different. So like what the Gandhian thoughts, having a charka at individual homes, this is nothing but production by masses for masses. So it is covering a particular social, removing the social unrest, giving works to the hand. So this simple thing is very essentially required to nurture in our education system. And so social balance, to removing the social unrest, is an important component in the futuristic workforce development. The economical component is another important aspect of skill taxonomy, because using a technology, using a high skill, it must using the particular aspect of having or providing the high skilling. So it is meaning that the technological development, technological transfers are capable of creating the economical flows in the nation as well as outside the nation, and that creates the wealth of the nation. And so the second quantum of a particular skill taxonomy covers the economical aspect or economical health of an individual country. To mention it here, the digitization becomes essential part. Having the ICT infrastructure at industries also become a very essential part, as like in the schooling or in the education system. But hardly 20 to 25% of the workforce, which is at present, is only digitally skilled, and rest of these particular workers or the workforce requires the digital skillings or the high level skillings. If you are not properly skilled, this particular workforce, then it is possible that they may lose the job, and again creates the uncertainty or social unrest in the nation. The high-end imperatives, all the times which are talking about the research and research components only. And so to have innovations in education system. To have a research component in education system means teaching and learning component should involve the innovation and research component as an integral part. Then and then only you can reach to high-end imperatives, because high-end imperatives are responsible to create or develop the technology. The high-end imperatives are responsible to design development and product design and developments at the high level or with a quality product development, like Apple is concentrating or focusing on the quality. So similar kind of outreach, if somebody want, then the nation has to work hard on bringing the particular high-end imperatives or scaling imperatives properly balanced on the workforce pyramid. See, the another important component is also essentially required to discuss here, that the STEM policy, that means science, technology, engineering, art, mathematics, and management, all these components should get mixed up during the education system or the pre-education system or at the schooling education system. That components are highly missing. Only we are focusing on physics, chemistry, mathematics, or physics, chemistry, and biology, offering the services to medical sciences or engineering sciences. So that creates a lot of turbulence in the Indian education system. And so knowing the importance of social values, social ethics in the education system, giving importance to the individual work, or giving importance to the art and liberal arts, and allowing the learners to learn with his own pace. So that is possible if the flexibility is given at the individual education system. And that part was missing earlier, but now through this new higher education policy, these components are added slowly into the education system. The one important thing is that vocational education begins or will be added as an integral part of the schooling education system. Even the coding will begin from the standard 8, which was very difficult to recognize a coding component even at the engineering level itself. And so China and America, USA, they were already using of having this component of coding from the schooling level. But now the new initiative is definitely going to change the Indian scenario by adding this kind of new component of education system in education system, making the particular proficient graduates or the skilled graduates of tomorrow. And so these all kinds of taxonomies need to be harvested very properly and with the proper teaching learning processes. The teaching and learning processes are very important in developing the futuristic workforce. The reason is that the industry connect, increase of industry connect, adding the component of collaborative learning, adding the component of group learning, having the flipped type of classrooms or blended learning in the education systems provides a lot of scopes to the learner. Now the system has to be converted, not only the student centric, not only not only the teaching centric, but it must be a learning centric. The learning centric means the student also must learn, as well the teacher also must learn at all the time, leading to the lifelong learning. The skills which are essentially required to develop are of a durable types. The soft skill and hard skills has its own life. And so to increase the life of soft skills and hard skills, there is another component that is referred as the durable skills. And durable skills are only possible to imbibe in the system only and only if the learner follows the continuous learning. The learners follows lifelong learnings. Even the teacher, he has to learn a lot. Student has to learn a lot. The person who is employed or employee, he or she must also learn at all the time. And so the component of learning becomes the mandatory at all the sections of the stakeholders, particularly pertaining to the education system. And to mention it here that the skilling component, which what we are referring, we are not giving the social status to the skilling component, because all the times we are referring the skill as means the working with the hands, and that's the reason we are giving us low status in the society. That is not a part. Now during the pandemics, particularly These all kind of aspects are very really recognized by the humanity. And so the human touch to these particular social aspects is also is one type of skilling. Because see, having a business like even you can see the business through the different hotel industries or service industries, it is connected only with through a social media and with this component of social connectivity. And so that components also essentially needed to imbibe during the scaling. The another kind of thing, that means that agility in the teaching and learning must be followed by the learners. Here the learners doesn't mean that the student. Learner means the component of education system. It may be government. Government also must learn what to do, when to do, and why to do. So that component they should learn. The industry, they also should not think only that we want the best graduates. They should participate to develop the graduate. And the institution, they should provide, means institution means educators. The owners of the also should think or should learn at all the time to maintain the pace of global learnings. Because on one side, we're talking about the global citizenships. On other side, there is a demand of global workforce. And so the competency levels, if you're not imbibing into this culture, then it becomes very difficult. And so the capabilities of learning must be broadened at all the stakeholders level that I mentioned. The owner of the institution, the faculty members, the leader of the institution, director or principal or vice chancellor, or even the government and industry, and even the society also should contribute for the development of the quality of the education system by giving the proper feedback and adding the values, maybe a cultural values or ethical values, or the component which are required to develop the quality of education system and respect to the graduating students. And so all the way, this type of skilling component is very much important. The another important thing is also likely to be happen during the next decade, that if we're not following the pattern of lifelong learning, then we may miss the bus of becoming or continuing our services for a long time. Because already the new education policy, which was talking about the contractual type of services to be offered to the teachers, means 5 years tenure or 10 years tenure based on 360-degree feedback. And so the component of skilling is required not only to the student but also teacher also. Otherwise, the services are at the stake. And so the teacher must be very careful on the skilling himself at very regular interval of time. We know that the technology is changing with a very fast speed. Before independence, the development in technology will have a particular lifetime to the tune of 30 to 40 years. Slowly, it's very fast, it is increasing day by day. And that gap of development of technology has reaches from a few years to few days even. And so that's the reason why there is a need to have a connect with the technological development. And so the different technological skills must be learned by an individual. Coming to the another component, this skill taxonomy is connected directly with the three major skilling proficiencies. And these skilling proficiencies are worldwide referred, or the data on quantum, which refers in terms of businesses. Business means the financial business, trading, commerce, and product development design. And you can have this kind of businesses through this particular the skilling proficiencies. The another kind of technology means the technology is having the different type of proficiencies. That means the cutting edge proficiencies, competitive age proficiencies, or emerging proficiencies. That means the type of technology that individual is using of what level. So the topmost workforce is already using a particular technology or age technologies that is called as the artificial intelligence or machine learnings or the data sciences or cloud computing or the blockchain and whatnot. The all hot cake technologies are being used by the cutting edge proficiencies, And that particular cutting edge proficiencies, if you are using very nicely in business, technology development or data science development, so that the country is leading for or in terms of business. See, if we quote the example of the purchase parity index, this is very important, correct, as far as the GDP is concerned, or as far as the income is concerned of an individual nation. If you compare this particular purchase parity index, India is about the topmost country having the particular purchase parity index. The second important aspect is seen through the particular Indian continent, that the economy is developing a very fast rate in the world. It is a topmost increase seen in the last year, that through the particular World Economic Forum, the 12.5% hike in economical development is seen. And that is the reason that this country has a big potential or a large potential to encash on the different skilling proficiencies. And to have these particular skilling proficiencies, I think we have to have the better connectivity with research, innovation, and incubation, leading to product design and development. Otherwise, there is no scope for the country to lead in the skill proficiencies. It is expected by the great philosophers or the great country leaders that this country must become the world hub for the futuristic workforce, like what the information technology was leading in the world. The Indian IT structure, IT sector is leading. But what about the community, like what is called, it is referred as the BPOs, means business processes outsourcing. So that is on the top, because we are having a competencies in the information technology levels. But what about the KPOs, means knowledge processing processes outsourcing? Here we are lagging, because the knowledge processing processes outsourcing will contribute for directly economical developments or direct technology transfers, and that particular component is missing by and large, because we have not added enough skill proficiencies in our education system. And so there is an urgent need to add this particular three different type of skill proficiency. I have mentioned business proficiency. We must be strong in economics. Technology, we must be producer of a technology. We must transfer the technology. Data science means we must able to increase the quantum of artificial intelligence, virtual reality, big data, or the age cutting edge technologies, or the research in the data sciences on the top. Then only we can have a particular skill proficiency attainment at the graduating level, or at the schooling level. Otherwise, it is very difficult to move on or to accept the values of the education system at the global level. To mention it here, the another component of scaling, which talks about the migration and vibration, because migration is a sign of development, and vibration is sensing something new. May the vibration and migration creates the values in terms of bad values or good values. Now it is to decide that which values we want to grow up. And so there is need to have to mitigate some of the ancient values or some of the ancient techniques, and must adopt the newer technologies in the learning processes or teaching learning processes. The migration between villages and the cities, migration between talukas and districts, migration among the states and nation is giving a beautiful sign of development. But it should not be one side migration. Migration should be the bi-directional migration. Otherwise, we have seen we are migrating, our brains are migrating at the rate like 10 to 12 lakhs every year, and the incoming brains are only 40,000, that to the from the third countries. So that imbalance create a lot of values, and here we are missing the component of earning or the resource encashment. Otherwise, see, the countries like USA or UK, their major contribution of GDP development is to these particular inviting the international student at their campuses. And the reason is why these boys are attracted by paying a fees more than 5 to 6 times. That's what our students are paying here, and they are going migrating to these particular campuses because they are ensured with the complete ecosystem. They are aware of to get connect with the knowledge bases. They are already ensured to receive the quality in the education system. And so all these things are connected again and again. I'm telling you that these are connected with the skill proficiencies. Our education, if you connect with the Australian education system, our graduate is allowed to have only again have to finish couple of years to be equivalent to the graduate of Australian universities, because they felt that our graduates are thorough in the theoretical knowledge but zero in practical knowledge. And that's the reason if our student want to transfer into Australian universities, the boy has to learn couple of years on the practical skills or the skill proficiencies. They have to earn the skill proficiencies. Then only they are allowed to connect with their higher education systems. On one side, we are following the ABET. On one side, we are following the STEM policies. On one side, we are following the National Board of Accreditation, the Washington Accords. And on other side, we are failing to move the masses of institutions to become these professional skill proficiency providers, the skill proficiency providers. The reason is that we don't have the proper ICT infrastructure. We must have to develop the frugal networks to provide or to cover the masses. And so providing the equity, providing the equal access is again important problem that what the country is facing. But however, to remove the social imbalances again, there is a need to empower the education system by allowing the funding to the education institution. Another important point is where it is seen here that most of the institution now, particularly recently, this government has declared that particularly the single window funding agencies will be operated hands onward, and there is no discrimination between government and private institutions. And so this is the opportunity. The one must grab this opportunity to be a part of this particular funding receiving partners. And so we have to well prepare on our projects. We have to well prepare on our funding analysis or our requirements, and we must grab these opportunities. The new policy will provide this kind of opportunities. The another important thing. Hello, 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 sir.
Hello.
Sir, may आएगा audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Yes.
आप 5-10 मिनिटं कंटिन्यू करू का अजून? सर,
Sir, your screen were not visible. Like means they are not changing.
hello.
Hello. Hello. Sir, are you able to hear me? Hello. For all the participants, we will take a break of 5 minutes. The expert is going to join in next 5 minutes. So at 2:35, again, we'll join. Hello. Devsarkar sir, we can start now. Sir, please unmute yourself. Devsarkar sir. Sir, you are on. Yeah, please.
आवाज येतो सर माझा आता?
Now you are audible, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So coming to the last couple of points. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Coming to last couple of points, which are pertaining to the skill proficiency levels. The countries those are leading in cutting edge proficiencies, these countries are categorically referred as the developed countries. The countries those who are having the competitive skills on higher levels, they are referred as the developing countries. And the last, those are only using these proficiencies or knowledge or the ICT domain knowledge for the few application, they are referred as the underdeveloped countries. So based on the skill proficiencies, the national references are made, or the world references are made, like developed countries, developing countries, and underdeveloped countries. The reason what I am mentioning it here, that the skill proficiencies are of so important because they are driving the economy of the nation. They are driving the productivity or product capacity of the individual nation. And indirectly or directly, these proficiency skills those countries are having at high level, definitely these countries are leading. And to mention it here again, the few glimpses which are reported by the Global Skill Report, the India has 55 position in business skills, as referred as world skills, business world skills. We are at 55 position. Technology and data science, we are at 66 position. Though we claim we are leader in information technology, but the recent happenings refer that as far as the global skills in data sciences and technologies are concerned, this country is at the position 66. The another important observation based on this particular work, the skilling, the country has exhibited a lag in digital skill with 38% proficiency in global skill domain. Means we are lagging by more than 38% skilling level as compared to the world. And so there is a long journey to go ahead for the Indian education system to connect with the world futuristic workforce attainments. The dynamics, particularly as refer with the STEM policy, we are at the average level, and on Asian map, India is ranked 16th, with only ahead of Philippines and Thailand, but very lagging behind the Singapore and Japan. And so this is the position. The country is the biggest country. The country has the highest volume of Indian universities or the education network. But on other side, if you quote it or refer it, there is no place for India among the 10 top countries in global proficiency skills. And here, by recognizing this particular need of adding the skill proficiency, the new higher education policy has given importance to add the component of high skilling through the research and innovation in education system. Research and innovation, that doesn't mean a publication of papers, but it must bring into the teaching and learning systems and must adopt the Industry 4.0 applications for the technology development and technology transfer. So by having this kind of recognition, particularly the Indian education system is going to adopt this kind of changes in the education system very soon. The indexing, particularly, we also again refer as in this particular term, the highest GDP, particularly what we call it as the GDP per capita, means per income of a person. If you map it on the world map level, see the countries those are leading in all these three skills: business skills, technology skills, and data sciences skills. So these countries are definitely the developed countries, and there in the developed countries, the per capita income is to the tune of 40,000 US dollar. Are you getting my point? So if you refer the Indian GDP, particularly the gross the GDP per capita, it is hardly $2,000. $2,000 means touching to around 1.4 lakhs per annum. So means 12,000 per month. If you go and have an average of a average income of an Indian employee, it is hardly 12,000 per month. So that disparity talks about that there is a tremendous need to improve on these all skill efficiencies. Otherwise, it is very difficult to move to the vision of having a $6 trillion economy mission driven by our Prime Minister. And the all thrust is given on the skilling India, Digital India. These all initiatives are brought not only into the industry but also into education system to adopt or to follow the global pattern of learning. The another important aspect is also seen particularly through this particular futuristic workforce, where is the scope of creating a jobs, and these jobs are definitely are in the green economies, the care economies. Care economy means it is an economy connected with the healthcare, and blue economy means economy which is connected to the marine sciences. These three areas are now identified by the Indian government and giving emphasis on these all three different sectors. Green sector, which is pertaining to the agricultural development, means use of ICT in agriculture, use of all technologies in the agriculture development. The care technology means the healthcare, bringing all kind of technologies into the medical sciences or supports or the service providers or nursing or pharmacy and many more in terms of giving services as well as production of pharmaceutical products also. This country was number one just before a couple of decades in pharmaceutical as far as the pharmaceutical industry is concerned. But again, there is a lag found. And so the government has recognized or trapped the potential areas of development, that is nothing but the care economy or the the healthcare economy. And because of the pandemic, now everybody recognize this kind of services, what kind of services individual needs in terms of medical, in terms of the post-medical services, or during this particular COVID, or for the community services or medical services, the nursing services, then all different kind of services which are connected with the healthcare or drinking water or food, everything about the oxygen, about the pure oxygen, about the green economies, particularly the agriculture products, and many more which are coming at a glance to reconsider the thoughts and reinvestment or knowledge thoughts in the systems to give the rise to the new economies and blue economies, because the India has more than 700 kilometers coastal region, and there, from the point of defense services, from the point of biodiversity, from the point of marine services, from the point of transportation, shipping services, and many more things which needs to incorporate through the skilling pattern. And government of India is largely giving the funding to these all fee structures, and now it is us to consider that how, in what way we can connect our education system to bring in this kind of all economical reformation by having or by adopting or by following the different skilling pattern which requires, and many more things, particularly which are needed to be incorporated in the education system. The last point which I want to mention it before concluding my thought, see, there is a significant variation across the globe in adoption of technologies. For example, to quote it here, that in global automation race, the Europe has the highest level of worldwide, having 106 industrial robots per 10,000 employees. So these kind of robots are useful in installing in the manufacturing industry. Germany is the third largest country, offering the number of robots per 10,000 employees. Sweden is fifth, Denmark is sixth, Italy is 10th, and UK is about 22. But where is the position of India? So it is very difficult, because the population density of industrial robots or industrial robotic density per 10,000 employee, the average worldwide needed as 85 units robots, 85 robots, industrial robots per 10,000 employees. And already these countries which I have mentioned, the Korea is the topmost country in the world, having the highest robotic density of industrial robots, having 630 units per 10,000 employees. Singapore is having this industrial robotic density of 488 per 10,000 employees. Germany 303, Japan 315, China 150, and India, it is very sad situation. We are having only 4 to 5 industrial robots per 10,000 robots, 10,000 employees. You see that this kind of low attainment of having the automation will definitely create the problems on productivity. Why productivity? Because we are not giving training on the cutting edge technologies, bringing the automations in the workforce pyramid. So that particular point to be seen very carefully. These countries are leading because the automation is to be fast. As we have seen the era of having or bringing the computers in the nation, there was a fear that the most of the employers may lose their jobs. The similar situation will likely to come in the Indian continent if you are not taking enough care on skilling and particularly on automation. The automation has to reach to the level of global competency. Then only we can compete in all respect, and we can bring our economy, maybe in terms of green economy, care economy, or blue economy, on the top of the world. And so looking at this global scenario, India must have to prepare to adopt automation with the global speed. However, at the same time, must have the blueprint of reskilling actions to care the job lost on account of automation. Its meaning is that the lower side of the pyramid or the bottom of the pyramid is at the risk, because almost all the works are being carried out by the automations. You can simply see that even on the highways, the toll collection is now digitized. So around 10 to 15% used to work before. Now they may lose the job. And if you consider as a country, how many people will lose their jobs on account of losing these particular skilling proficiencies at the lower side. Similarly, the case at middle level as well as the high level also. And so we have to catch the bus of attaining the automation as at the speed of the world, as the government, employers, and higher education system around the country grapple with the skill needs of a workforce in the midst of the fourth industrial revolution. The industrial robotic automation has created a great impact on skilling workforce, and hence there is an urgent need to develop a cross-sectoral framework to create a true, seamless, lifelong learning workforce, acquainting technical, soft skills, hard skill, and durable skills. So the skills must be well regarded at the all level. Education is the catalyst of bringing this kind of reformation. Education can make a change through this kind of reformations. We see predicting the future. It is very difficult. It is very nicely mentioned in the World Forum Economics report. The boys, those who are learning in the high schools, they are not aware of their types of jobs they may have offer in the future. So that kind of uncertainty is there because technology is changing with so rapidly, and that's the reason the pattern of work, the pattern of skilling is also changed with the same speed. And so even the boys in learning in the high school, they didn't know what kind of work they need to do in the industry. And so that kind of futuristic development are likely to take around the globe. So shifting demographically or geographically, the dividend will cause the technological breakthroughs and the volatilities of international politics and economics conditions are also responsible in predicting the future of skilling. And so the main important aspect of following the pattern of the worldwide space of skilling is must. Challenges, opportunities, strength, and lacunas must be learned at appropriate level. And I know the Indian education system is right enough to acquaint this kind of reformations to make very clear and to go very forward by having the particularly India will definitely reach to the destination of the world skilling competencies. To grab this opportunity, we must have to increase our capacity and capabilities by proper harvesting the demographic and geographic dividend, and that must be through the skilling or skilling of young massive population at the right time with the right pace and making the base of the skill workforce pyramid more stronger than ever before. So with this, I conclude my talk offering that first thing, the base of skill work pyramid is responsible for production and manufacturing hub. The top of the skill pyramid, which is responsible to create the economy, increase the employability and entrepreneurship, and prepare to face or prepare to create the futuristic research and innovations areas. And the middle of this particular part of the pyramid will definitely responsible for increasing the quality of production and manufacturing hubs. So the stability of the pyramid totally depends on balancing the top and the bottom skilling pattern. The top bottom section of the workforce pyramid will will work like a wheel of the workforce development vehicle. And to mention it here again, these particular workforce vehicle development is responsible for having the quality of education and also improving the economy of an individual nation. So with this, I conclude my talk, and I thanks the organizers for giving me an opportunity to connect with you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Before ending this session, let me take some of the questions from the participants. Dear participants, you can now unmute yourself and you can ask the questions to our expert. I request the participant, those who are having any question, they can unmute themselves and ask the question to our expert. Okay, so sir, I have got some of the questions in the chat. Sir, as a academicians, on what technologies we have to focus so that our engineering students will be the futuristic workforce?
So see, specially to mention here that the connect with the technology is must for an individual. Like what I have mentioned, that coding is a part to learn at the schooling level. Similarly, the graduates must connect with the to connect with the particular kind of ICT learnings or the learning through IoTs and doing some practices on design and developments. So the meaning is that the literacy in terms of ICT and IoT must be increased at all level. It is like using a calculator for calculations. The technology are helpful to make you higher on the proficiencies. Means languages, learning of languages, different languages, or coding, or the capacity to develop the algorithms. It is not essentially only the boys from IT and computer science can do it. Every student has to do it or use this kind of tool for their enlarging their ideas or cognitive domain for designing the theme in their respective core areas. And so I think that kind of skilling is must from the initial level. The proficiency must be practiced, not only prepared for the examination point of view. So otherwise, global competency, to attain global competency, it becomes difficult for our Indian graduates.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So there is another question. In Indian market or in there, it is observed that more than out of 100% startups, only 5% are based on the electronics, and out of this 5% electronics, there are only you can say the 5% are surviving. How we can comment on this, that such type of startups can sustain in future?
Oh. See, if you refer the world scenario, the only 1% of research contributions leading to PhD degrees or leading to the higher education we contributed from the Indian continent. And if you compare the China, immediately why I'm referring China, because the Chinese economy was below Indian economy before 20 years back. And what happened between these 20 years? So that tremendous change has brought because of only connecting these graduates to the vocational training education systems and connecting the MSMEs, means medium scale industries, to the schooling structures. So that kind of proficiency level is increased from the beginning, from the school level. This is one thing. Second thing, the top of the brain pyramid, if you can have a pyramid, the top of the pyramid is preferring the medical sciences and engineering education. And coming to the Indian education, particularly the technical education, the proficiency, particularly the jobs are available in only electronics, telecommunication, computer science, or IT, and there are very few jobs in the core industries like mechanical and the other industries. And so, directly or indirectly, there is a misbalance between this workforce requirement, and we are not contributing into production. And that's the reason that this country is recognized or referred by the other countries as a country of consumption, or we are the consumers of the communities. But we have to change this pattern also, and slowly now, because of adding these components of technology, skilling, collaboration, twinning arrangements, and the pattern of learning is going to change slowly. And another important thing is also added here, that the importance to the liberal education, important to the arts and other education is also equally considered, and the light is thrown to the new education policy. And slowly, I think we will reach to the destination, and the number of startups, the volume definitely will increase, but it will take some time. And the failure does not create any problem, but how many are participating to start the startup, that is also a big question. And see, to quote it here, that the startups in automation, startups in the travel, tourism, hotel industries, food industries, serving industries, these are increasing very slowly. So I think uh, definitely this Indian mindset is going to change very soon, and you will see within next decade or coming decade, these proficiency skills in almost all three category will increase, and definitely we will increase our pattern of filing the patents or filing the starting the startups. The important aspect is also is needed here, that the economy or financial supports or the initial seed funding support need to increase, and that is the lacuna in our system. But slowly this lacuna will going to remove, because the CSR funding is directly coming, then special windows for financial supports, one window system for education systems or startup system begins, the Atal Innovation, then Pandit Deen Dayal forums, and many forums are inviting the applications for the startups and supports. I think the PPP model or LPG model and the collaborative model will definitely help us to boost the level of all the proficiencies at Indian education systems very soon, and will definitely make a remarkable change uh, within short span of time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any participant would like to ask the question? I request the participant, they can unmute themselves and ask the questions. Okay, sir. What are the questions I have from the participant? That's it. So I think we should end this session.
Yeah, surely. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me and making me a part of this beautiful event. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. S.B. Devsarkar, sir, for giving us the insight about how we can develop different futuristic workforce for our industry. As we are having the product design or development and implementation is there, the skills proficiencies people are needed. And when we have these skills proficient people are there, then whatever your development and application is there for your product, that grows. So thank you for giving us the very new area about the futuristic workforce, sir. So from Sri Sant Gajanan Maharaj College of Engineering, we would like to thanks for your expert lecture, sir.
Thank you, sir. Shall I leave?
Yes, sir. So
Thank
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
you, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all the participants. The next session is at 4 p.m. So I'm going to end this meeting. We'll join at 4 p.m. again. The next session is by Mr. Santosh Sam Koshi. He is the Joint Director of CDAC Hyderabad. He is going to deliver a session on IoT architecture, protocols, and communication technologies. So with this, I would like to end this meeting. I request all of you please join at 4 p.m. Thank you all.